Look at that, the first video in a long time, and yes, I still have my woke mug. Also, if you don't know that sound, you can't hardly see it on the screen right now. That is the movie Fight Club. For my birthday back in May this year, we ended up having a little hurrah to celebrate the 25th anniversary this year of that stellar movie. With that being said, I don't think I've done a video, for better or for worse, since, I don't know, maybe it's been about 6 months. I don't know if that's good or bad, right? But really quickly, what is now? It's, I think we're almost into August. Real quick update, I still am working at a Walmart corporate. No, maybe we'll get into that a little bit more in a future video. But suffice it to say, also though, booked a trip, dolling up the house in the non-off-the-grid house, and am also taking a trip with a buddy in November to Japan, going to the infamous Walden after we visit my old home of New York City in September. And then next April, my wife and I are scheduled to go to Spain to walk the infamous way of St. James, where I also, I no point to show it, but I have a tattoo of. Scott, you know, this was called the whole Three Stooges thing. Scott, for almost a year now, has been, 10 months, has been in the Philippines. He did it. Left his job, the whole 9 yards, and he is now in the Philippines. Guess what? It's not all perfect. There's some negatives from leaving the modern life. That's the case with anything. Brian, he was getting an RV, setting up as a home and all that stuff in the event. Who knows what happens in this crazy world? He might get fired. And guess what? He has since got fired. Technically, they gave him 90 days, plus they're paying him another almost a year since he's been with the company for almost 29 years. I told him, I said, dude, it's a blessing in disguise, get out. So he's technically paid through next month. And then he's given a big severance package. I still think it's a blessing in disguise. Look at that. Whoop. You see that sunset? Oh, there we go. That's what it's all about, right? No, I want to see my bank statement. Forget that sunset. But, and speaking of that, the garden, again, trial and error. One of the gardens, too much water early on, not enough later on. The second and third gardens are holding up pretty well. But that's life, right? But yeah, quick update. I think the channel, you know, I got a lot of stuff to do, and it's not like I'm opting for, what's it called, being monetized for this. No, it's freely give, freely receive. But also with that, I'm not going to promise to make a gazillion videos. But no, I just thought, you know what, should give an update. Not that anyone cares, not that I really care. But I do think, and I've become even more convinced, even though I'm probably going to stick out one more year. We'll go into that later on a different video in corporate America. But again, I think the Timothy Wards, I applaud them. But I don't, if someone said, hey, James, we are 20 years old, we've never worked a day in our life, we want to escape the Matrix. I don't really know what to tell you. You know, it's not really, I don't know. I would get with Timothy Ward. But as far as this channel goes, saying, hey, Brian, James, Scott, you guys have slaved away long enough. Next year, which again, we'll see what happens. We're almost in August. My trip to Spain. Again, we'll get into that whole thing later. Here, without me turning it. Oh, look at that. I don't know. I mean, most people, and this is me included, especially sunrises. Whoop, there we go. I don't know. I'm always too busy. I'm going to work. I'm like, dude, I got to get going. Look at that sunset or sunrise. That's beautiful. Anyway, I got to get to a meeting. But no, I don't. This is not a one-size-fits-all. I think that, in my humble opinion, you got to kind of work in the matrix to understand the matrix. You know what I mean? It's kind of like street smarts. You got to be on the street a little bit to understand street smarts. You can't just, I want to understand the street, but I never want to touch the street. I just want to do it through books. I don't actually think it's possible. Timothy Ward and others would disagree, and maybe they're right. I don't know. But long story short, the purpose of this channel, the people that have said, hey, on the young end, if you want to call that young, James, you are 46. You've already booked the trip to Spain in April. You turn 47 in May, Lord willing. And that's your line in the sand where you're saying, look, dude, you can't keep treading water. You gotta bleep or get off the pot. Yes, that is me. And that is next May. Okay, so you'll be 47. Some people could easily say, hey, dude, that is too young. Other people, no, man, that's way too old. Each to your own, man. But again, like I said, this is just kind of saying, hey, here is how Scott, 10 years older than me, Brian, 5 years older than me, and then me, my age, so 46, 51, and 58, I think Scott is. Just turned, or 57, sorry. Either way, point being, it's nobody's journey is a one-size-fits-all. So I think that's important to remember. And yeah, with that, what hopefully this, we'll probably do some videos from Japan, from Spain. We'll go into the details on like, okay, dude, you were going like way minimalistic, which I kind of still am to a degree. I never said hardcore minimalism. And now you're sticking it out another corporate year and you're going to all these different places. What's up with that? Nah, we'll get into that later. A lot of different things, for better or for worse, contributed to that. But once, Lord willing, we get to a few videos here and there, I'm going to try to do a video with Scott in Japan. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the Philippines. We'll see. Anyway, on Scott's situation, Brian's situation, his RV setup, and then my situation. But yeah, I mean, since last video, Scott's living in the Philippines. Brian is no longer corporate America. He wanted to stay with corporate America. They just didn't want to stay with him. So I still think it's a blessing in disguise. I think he's coming to that conclusion as well, but time will tell. Point being, I think this channel is going to go definitely much more into the, hey guys, oh, I just walked into a spider web. Much more into the, okay, no more corporate, whatever. Last week was my last day. I'm no longer getting paid. Here's what I'm doing about it. And just to, again, what works, what doesn't work, hopefully that will be an advantage to some of the rest of you to simply get out of Dodge. Anyway, video's already rambled on long enough. Oh, hold on. Should just turn the video around. Anyway, obviously it's not going to work now. Anyway, sorry. Ghetto phone. It's the welcome to Walden sign. But I think it'll be good going to New York City again, where I used to live. It'll be funny. Lived there for over 2 years. Totally fine. We show back up as visitors and get mugged right when we get off the plane. But hey, if that happens, that'll be an experience too. But I think it'll be good to see New York City again. Again, I think it's great to live there. Just don't stay there. You got to experience life a little bit, different venues. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough, and we'll see where the channel goes from there. But again, just, I don't know, think about it. It's weird how many people's like, oh, dude, you don't understand my situation. You know what? Every single person, whether they're 20 or a guy named Pascal, who is in his 60s, and of course, he's taking care of his whole family, big surprise. So he's like, no, man, you just don't understand. I got to keep working. Hey, dude, you do you, man. I'm not sitting here saying you've got to do like James. I mean, James is still trying to figure this SHIT out. And the farmers markets, all this stuff, it's done okay, but it's not done great. But I can't keep one foot in corporate, one foot in off the grid. So plus I'm not getting any younger, so it's getting much more difficult to do a very mentally business challenge job. Where at 46, I mean, on the shoes team, I think I'm the second or third oldest out of like, I don't know, 40, 45? I'm 46. I mean, I'm not like 56, 66. I mean, it's not like I'm like ancient, but I'm like one of the oldest ones. So that kind of summarizes where we are in 2024. Not good, not bad. It's just, it's not an old man's sport. But either way, out here doing the manual labor, that's not an old man's sport either, as I very quickly found out. Here you go, hold on. Whoop. That's the garden that's still up and going. That's technically garden 3. Garden 1, maybe we'll go into that later. I lost the battle. So, again, live and learn. You cannot half-time some of this stuff. But, again, a good experience, no matter how you cut it. Also fighting off varmints and everything else. And, trying to get the house in Rogers, because I'm still trying to do, unlike Brian and Scott, I'm trying to keep one foot in civilization. Me and my wife's house, she's like, yeah, the off-the-grid thing's nice, but no thanks. Hey, I get that. That's the sacrifices of marriage, right? Same thing with kids. If you said, well, James, I have 10 kids. Okay, look, I don't. So maybe this won't work for you. Maybe you should stay at corporate for the rest of your life. I don't know, man. Do your thing. And again, in 2024, there's no shame in it. I've got a buddy, George, and I think that's totally admirable. He is a stay-at-home dad, homeschooling his kids, and his wife, who's kind of like me, a little bit of a hippie at heart, she's slaving away at corporate. And it's ironic, we were talking, she started like the week or 2 weeks before I did. So I'm like, dude, I've been there like over 20 years, and that means you've been there that long plus 2 weeks. So anyway, that's the update. Still planning on getting off grid. I'll explain what worked, what didn't work, some of the problems. Same thing with Scott and Brian. And, you know, we'll see where the channel goes. I'm not going to do too many videos. I could care less. But Lord willing, if everything goes as I'm planning, come spring, especially May, I will eventually be doing a video saying, thank you, God. We'll see what happens. No more Walmart corporate. And then a few months after that, I might be saying, why? Why did I quit? You idiot. But, you know, it'll be a good learning. What not to do and what to do. But anyway, we'll leave it there. I remember how to shut this off.